Hello, everyone. I am so excited to be here. I pray that y'all have had a blessed day or a blessed hour whenever y'all are seeing this. I just want to come to you guys as a woman. This is the series that I'm starting. I pray that this blesses someone somehow, some way. But I've been feeling led, y'all, to just speak on some stuff that I've been through, speak on some things that God can help you be free from. Because honestly, I started this podcast because I wanted to save somebody some time. I don't know about you, but I need some time saved. Like, I love lessons. I love hearing people talk about their experiences so that I don't have to go through them. And if I do, I can have a witness or a testimony to be able to help me get out of that situation. And everybody's situation is different, but y'all, I'm here. So y'all come with me. Today, y'all, I just want to talk to you guys about the importance of staying humble. And when I say stay humble, of course, you're going to see my title of my video and what this is about. But this is ultimately going to have you in a stage of humility. When I talk about just being able to live with someone else, especially a family member, a parent, that is someone that you have grown up with. You have seen the ins and outs of their character over a time period. You may have been treated differently from your other siblings. So there are going to be some nuances to this subject. But I specifically want to come to people that have had a childhood where they grew up in a household that was stable enough for them still to be able to live there. So me, for an example, I still stay with my parents. I still live with them. And it took a lot for me to humble myself to stay because honestly, y'all, I can go pay for an apartment. I can go pay for a house and have my own mortgage and do that. But God has designed for me in this season to be here. And I'm thankful now than I was before because I wanted to do my own thing. I wanted to do what I want to do. And I did what I wanted to do, y'all. I came from college. So it's going to be a little different from what other people may testify on. But I do want to come to a woman and say that you do not have to rush out of your parents' household. Like, if God has given you the ability to say, my parents haven't rushed me out emotionally, physically, and there may be times where you just feeling yourself and you really smelling yourself, like you just want to be quote unquote grown, where you feel like this is something that you have to do, but you really don't have to do it. That's something that you're going to have to go to God about. But I want to make sure by the end of this video that you get in your mind that once you do leave your household, whenever God gives you the A-OK, that you are truly aligned in your spirit and in your finances where God is telling you to go. Not because you just want to do this and you feel like this is the best move for you to do. And maybe it's just your finances may be lining up and your spirit may not be able to do that. You have to know what's a trap for you and what's something that God is giving you the green light on. So do not get my speech, y'all, my dissertation, my words of wisdom twisted, because I understand that some women come from a traumatized past where their parents may not have done them right. They may have been abandoned. I take that into consideration whenever I'm doing something, but I definitely want to take and talk to you guys about if you are in a household where your parents are supportive and your parents have given you the things that you need to give you from a basic need point of view. I'm not saying that they were perfect, because honestly, y'all, my parents weren't perfect. My parents didn't give me everything that I wanted, like financially, because they just didn't have it like that. I didn't grow up like that. Y'all, looks may be deceiving, but I didn't have it that way, so get it. But the thing about it is, it's important to know that even when you have those bumps in the road with whoever you're living with, that this is something that is going to be foundational is if it's a moral thing, not more so is this just an emotional decision that I'm making before I move out. So I want to talk to the girl that's in high school. I want to talk to the girl that's in college that may be going back home for the summer or maybe going back home once they graduate. I want to talk to those people. And it's some grown people that's going to be watching this video that may be in their 40s. So I'm not saying to stay in your household with your parents the rest of your life, but I'm going to give you some things that I've taken from living with my parents and my kind of my experiences that I had, and that may help you make your decision. So me personally, y'all, I went to college soon as I got out of high school at 17, and I played basketball. So I was on scholarship and I was able to get my apartment and live on my own. I had a roommate my first year of college, and I did not like that. That wasn't me. I'm a very reserved person. I don't like living with other people, and especially my experience, it just wasn't a good one. It really wasn't, because I had people coming in and out of my apartment. It wasn't clean. It wasn't nothing like I expected it to be by going to college. But I did still have that freedom to do what I wanted to do. But it wasn't the experience that I wanted. So second year, y'all, I decided I wanted to get my own apartment. I wanted my own space. I wanted to feel grown, and I did. I felt like I had that experience during that time, and I still had to go home and, of course, like, live with my parents when I went home and stuff like that. And I did not make the curfews. I didn't do that. So I did not like that. I feel like one of my downfalls by being in high school and being in college, I never did really abide by my curfew laws, because I still was out there. And that was one of the things, like, I did really well in school. I did really well in basketball. But my only downfall as a child is not coming home on time. And you know what I was doing when I wasn't coming home on time? Well, some people do, and I'll make a video for that next. But that was one of my things when I did come home. I didn't want to come home on time because I had my own laws when I was at school. And then when I had people in the city, I wanted to do what I wanted to do. And then when I was at college, I didn't have those same people. So it was a little back and forth. So third year, I ended up transferring to another school because I had to, I was at a JUCO my first 2 years, and then my second 2 years I actually went to a university, and I basically had my own apartment then too. So I stayed in my own dorm room because I wanted my own space, y'all. I didn't want to live next to someone like in my own room. That was just gonna irk me, like sleeping next to somebody in the same bed that wasn't, you get what I mean? Like, no, I didn't want that. Now, I feel like some people are just extroverted, so that's okay for you to do, if you just love being around people and you're a people person. But me personally, I wasn't that jittery person that liked that. Like, I wanted to be able to, if I wanted to visit you, I had a choice to leave or, stay the night if I wanted to. And if I didn't, I wanted to go back to my own place because I just like being by myself. That was my experience as a person, because I like being on my own terms and knowing, like, if I didn't clean this, it's up to me. It's my responsibility. I didn't want to blame that on someone else. So during those last 2 years of college, I went back home, and, between those summers, I kind of did what I wanted to do still, like my third year of college and stuff. And then senior year, I feel like that's when my relationships started getting better. My relationship specifically with my parents, it was good, but I still wasn't, abiding by the curfew. So they really didn't like that, y'all. They just didn't like that. I didn't do right. But specifically my relationship with my mom, it was like I had attitude issues, and I saw that in relationships too. I had attitude issues. So my mom, for example, like, there's something you're gonna see. Like, you always say, okay, I get this from my mom, or I get this from my dad, whatever the case may be. I felt like I got my attitude from my mom, to be honest. Like, I really feel like I did. So I felt like those things I was really struggling with, and I didn't know how to be the bigger person. I thought that if you were saying the same thing and I was saying the same thing, we would go at it. Not like in a disrespectful way, but honestly, yes, I was being disrespectful at a certain time, but not like, how white people do with their parents. Not like that, because I knew she could knock my teeth out. Like, I knew she was going to lay me out. Like, if I'm aggressive, y'all, if I'm assertive, she like 10 times. So I felt like at a certain point in my life, that's when we just used to always bump heads, like, every day. especially when I was like on my summer breaks and I used to be ready to leave. I used to be ready, y'all, to go to college because I didn't want to deal with it. I just felt like my peace was at stake and I didn't have time for that. So that was my escape when I went to school. I didn't have to deal with all of that nagging. Did you do this? I don't want to hear that. Okay. So once I got to my senior year, y'all, I end up getting God just end up just speaking to me, and I really wanted to buckle down and get a relationship with God because clearly my life wasn't working how I thought it was going to work. So I just decided, I'm like, God, you got to have a better plan for me. So I started making decisions, and I go into depth on other videos, but I started making better decisions with my life, y'all. And I really wanted God to change me from the inside out. I really wanted him not to just change, because I had a problem with cursing too. So I wanted God to really change my language because I felt like God was telling me and calling me up to a different dimension in life. Like I felt like I was going to be in a new place. So God just really started to convict me very heavily about how I spoke and what the language that I use and the dialect that I would use around people. And honestly, I started realizing as I asked God to help me purge that and purify my language, that I would, go time after time and being intentional with that. And I started replacing that with other, words that I could use, or just not saying nothing at all. Like understanding that this has a root and I'm going to have to change this if I want to truly be a woman of God. And I wanted to, honestly, y'all, I wanted God to be like, I wanted him to give me the best. I didn't want God to give me half of what he had, because I didn't want to come to the end of my life where God was like, I could have gave you this and he didn't give it to me, because I didn't want to buckle down and be disciplined and really chase after him. Like if I'm going to chase after him and he's giving me everything that I need, I know I can't come up short. So I really wanted to do that. So I started out, y'all, with drinking. I said, God, I want to stop drinking. I got to stop doing this. I had read Upset the World by Tim Ross, and he's friends with Mike Todd. So I read that book, and God really convicted me about drinking. So then I was like, man, I got to clean up my language, because I'm starting to feel like I'm uncomfortable around people that's using profound language. And I profane language, and I did not like that, y'all. I really didn't. Once I stopped cursing and once I stopped like weaning back from it, I started to realize people curse so much. Like we live in a world where it's so much cursing, and then you'll have people like, if it's nothing wrong with cursing, that's how you know it's something wrong with it. If people still apologizing for it, like older people be like, oh my bad, baby, or excuse me, I ain't mean to say that. Like, it's something wrong with it if you still apologizing for it. So I feel like that's still something that people have to be dealt with on their own personal level. It's something you just can't tell people. That's why I don't judge people on their language, but I will allow people that's around me in my circle not to really use it, because it just taints my spirit. It just pulls me down when I'm around people that just curse every breath. Like every breath. Like, come on. But anyway. So God had to clean me up from my language. So that's what I wanted God to do, and my drinking habits and stuff. And then it started with my environment. God just started weaning me away from things. So as that grew, y'all, I really had to ask God to work on my attitude, because I would always realize that was a common denominator for me. Like in my past relationships, I ain't gonna say I was the reason that we broke up, and I'm not going to say that's the reason why all my relationships went bad, but I can definitely pinpoint something that was wrong. And I'm not going to even say that they didn't work in my favor, because I'm actually glad that I didn't end up with these people, because it was besides my attitude. But one thing, as when you're developing yourself and you're trying to get the best of you and give God the best of you, you're going to have to do some things, and you're going to have to dig and excavate some areas in your life where you're just going to have to say, like, God, reveal to me some things that I may not know about myself, some things that I may know about myself that I need to work on. So this is a place in your life while you are single, because I'm single, this is a place in your life where you're really going to have to figure out what is wrong in my life. You may not get everything right, but it may be a process, but God wants you to be aware of your imperfections or your limitations. So get that, y'all. It's something good that you can really, really discover over your lifespan. What can I work on? And the people that you've been in a relationship with in the past will tell you. I promise you, just think about all the people that have told you something that been wrong with you and you didn't want to work on it. Work on it. It may be body, it may be mind, it may be your spirit, it may just be your aura or the way you carry yourself. It may just be that. But take into consideration, what are these people saying about me? It may not be everybody against you. It may be some small tweaks that you need to make. So do those things. So as I began to matriculate in my time of really spending with myself and spending with God, God was able to reveal that I need to work on my attitude, because my attitude won't get me nowhere if I just keep it like that, especially in a relationship realm or in a job realm. But my attitude, honestly, y'all, it showed up in a relationship thing, and then it showed up in basketball too, because I play basketball. Okay? So you talking about somebody that'll give a ref a look, like, or really argue. I want the bad argue, like a basketball player that I know that argue everything, or whatever. But it was one of those things where I need to question you. But a lot of those things showed up in my life, and I didn't know, exactly how to deal with those things. And it really comes from emotional healing too. And it's just being intentional about it. It's really about being intentional about it. So as that began to grow, I started to take some time, and it still is a process, y'all, but I started to take some time and pay attention to how I treated my mom. And it all came down to how I viewed God and how I viewed myself and what I've been dealing with. Like, you just can't keep everything close, because one of my problems was, I'm gonna tell y'all my problems. One of my problems was that I had a mouth, but in order for me to just not say nothing to hurt your feelings, because I'm so blunt, I'd rather just be quiet. So I used to use that as a mechanism on how not to hurt somebody's feelings. So I would use the silent treatment somewhere, or where people diagnose it, say it now, using the silent treatment, because I truly just didn't want to say nothing outrightly disrespectful. So I used to be quiet, y'all, and I wouldn't say nothing, because I just had an attitude. It was just one of those things. And I didn't know how to verbally communicate. And I learned that over time with people that I met, that I needed to verbally communicate, and I needed to be mature in whatever I felt, but know how to say it respectfully. Because if I didn't know how to say it, I just didn't need to say it at all. So when it came out about me working on my attitudes and stuff, I believe that's when a shift made in my relationship with my mom, because I was able to be honest with her. And when God does something in your heart, you really want to be honest. When you are doing the work of the enemy, I'm gonna be honest with you, and this may be with anything, because I know people that are very honest with their parents, but their parents are kind of in the world, so it's not really, I ain't gonna say it don't count, but it really don't count. Like, my mom is my pastor. So when I come to her, I have to come with a certain level of respect, knowing that she's going to give me godly advice and that she's going to give me the truth at the same time. But when you go to people and you be honest with your parents, for example, like about your relationships or something, and they can't help you, they can only give you advice, and they can't give you what God tells you, that's still not helping you. But I want to say that if you have godly mentors, if you have somebody in your corner that can give you godly advice, do it and be honest, because being honest with the right people matters more than you being honest with the wrong people. I'm not going to say lie to the wrong people, but be honest with those people too. But also, if you're going to be vulnerable with somebody that can truly help you sew those wounds and help God be more of a assistance to you. Because my mom wasn't a person to just intervene on everything and be strict on me. She wasn't like that. Like, that's what I like. She was able to give me my freedom. So it was kind of like she was on a three-way call with me. For example, like, I want to talk to you about this, but I want you to talk to God too, because that's who you ultimately gonna be with. And I wasn't disappointed about that when she would send me to God, or whatever the case may be, or when I knew that this is something that God gonna have to just deal with me on, because only God can understand you in certain situations. So there's some things that God can only heal you in when you go to him, but he'll allow you to be honest with other people so that you can get freedom in the area. Because if you're still bound, maybe it's because of some secret places that you still have in you that you are so afraid to share with other people. So don't be afraid to share those things, because freedom is in your testimonies. Like, you get set free mentally, emotionally, spiritually, all of that, by just speaking by what's inside of you, even if it doesn't make sense. That's why I say therapy is very, very, very helpful, and really going to God yourself and saying, God, I want to surrender everything that you placed in me, that you allowed in my life. It may not have been fair to me, but hey, it's here. It's something that you grace me with, because pain can be a gift. Because I wouldn't be speaking to you today if I didn't have any pain. I wouldn't. And even if I had the pain, God still brought me back here to talk about this. So my relationship grew with my mother, and it took a shift because I could just be honest with her. I never been as honest with her as I ever been, not for gossiping or not by just telling her my business, but truly because I understood that if I'm gonna walk with God, I'm gonna have to be honest. I'm gonna have to be vulnerable. I'm gonna have to be sensitive to the spirit, even if it doesn't make sense, even if it feels like I'm uncomfortable to tell people my business, that may be my pastor, that may be my mom, that may be somebody in a church. Because at the end of the day, even if people go wrong with it, that's not your job. Your job is not just to be so discreet that you can't be honest with somebody about what you may be going through, because they can pray you through it. Being in a relationship with God opens up so many doors. It opens up so many networking, because people can actually help you when you want to be helped. I can't help somebody. It's just like in a classroom. I'm not a teacher, but it's just like in a classroom. Like when a child says, I'm available, I'm here, I need help, that's when somebody can come over and approach you. But when you don't want to be approached, when you have your head down, acting like you know everything and that you got everything, you're a relationship expert, you're a Bible scholar, nobody can help you. God can't even help you when you have that over your heart, when you're guarded by God, but you want to open yourself up to people. That's not how it works. No, you're going to have to go through God first if you want his results. So me humbling myself, even when conversations got hard, even when conversations went left and her personality got out and my personality got out, at the end of the day, you're going to have to humble yourself and say to God himself, God, help me with this. Like, it got to be something else that I may be dealing with on the inside. This person may be wrong or they may be right, but show me. Because at the end of the day, when you get in relationships with other people, it's not going to be about you. I hear so many stories where people be like, I wanted my spouse to change, and I wanted my significant other to change, but then I got by myself and I asked God to change me, and the situation turned around. Because sometimes God can't change that other person until he changes you. God is going to change that other person on his timing. But when he changes you, that's up to your outcome and your relationship with God, because you are only responsible for yourself. You're not responsible for saving someone else, for capturing somebody else's attention and doing all that other stuff. That's not you. Okay? So when I be honest about this, I say to people, like, honestly, do not rush. Don't rush. If I got a son, do not rush. But having a relationship with God really pivoted my relationship with my mother, because I was able to see her in a different light. And say, you've been telling me a lot of stuff that I really wasn't receiving, but you've been right in certain circumstances, but I apologize. You're just going to have to apologize. I had to come to her and apologize for some stuff that I did that I didn't even know I did, but I knew I was wrong. Sometimes you get so haughty, and I'm going to say me, I get so haughty sometimes, I don't even know how to say sorry. So that's one thing that God had to help me do once it came to him, because when you go to God, God is going to send other people that's done you wrong, that you've done wrong, and you're going to have to make it right. You can't just think that because God is up on the throne that he's not going to send you to people that's down here, because he says, how are you going to love me if you can't even love the people that you see? God is not somebody you can tangibly see. So God wants you to love other people. But in this triangle, I love my triangle. My people, if you know me, I love my triangle. Love God first, and God will show you how to love you, and then he'll trickle it on down to other people. Because honestly, when you love yourself, you will forgive other people, and you want that same forgiveness to be extended to them, and vice versa. So when you have that love for yourself, you understand, I don't want to keep holding this unforgiveness towards this person, and it's actually keeping me bound. Like, this is not my responsibility to keep trying to hold something against you like I'm a God, and that's not my position. That's not my purpose on earth, is to hold other people prison to their mistakes. I'm not gonna live my life like that. And I want somebody else to have that attitude that's watching this, to say that, listen, whoever wronged me, that's up to you. You gonna feel that guilt, you gonna feel that shame, but I'm not about to hold that to my conscience, knowing that I gotta punish you, I gotta get revenge on you for what? No. So being in this space helps you be more free. It helps you live life a little bit more easier. Even when trials come, even when problems come, and you have dilemmas about certain situations, God will still see you through it. He'll still give you clarity within your situation. So that continually started to grow on me as time passed. So when I was able to really wrap my head around not being right, that helped me. And that helped me a lot, even in relationships, because now I'm able to see that I don't have to fight. Like, if you just feel like you're right about this, I don't have to argue about that. I can keep my peace. Some things you just have to work on. And I feel like now, honestly, y'all, that we are in a society where people feel like they just have to be grown. Like, we just have to be out on our own. And God will put you in a place to be on your own. Like, I ain't saying I gotta be here. I'm not gonna be in my parents' house forever. I'm gonna just tell y'all that now. That's why I'm trying to make this video. But I want to tell you guys that it's okay that you can humble yourself under their household, because God is gonna bless you. When you honor your parents, when you honor the people that God has put above your life to take care of you as a guardian, God still is going to bless you in the mix, but it may be something that you have to learn in this season. I know y'all don't want to do it. I know it doesn't look good. I know it may not sound good, but this is something for your good, for real. God is working this while you're at your parents' house for your good, because it's some things you are being protected by. When I was younger, y'all, I still wanted to do what I wanted to do. I was sneaking folks in from the front door to the back door to the window to the side door to the roof. I was ready, okay? Because I didn't care. But as I began to grow, and when I was by myself at school, I realized I'm not really trying to, my parents are not here with me. I can be doing what I want to do, but I choose to be faithful to God. When you're being faithful to God, you understand that I don't need to be cheating on God with my future. Like, I want what God has for me in my future, and I don't care how long it takes. Like, my present may not be looking the best. I may be feeling a certain type of way, but I truly want what God has for me, and I may have to just not tolerate, but really be my best self and allow God to cultivate me in this moment. So being able to be honest with yourself and know where you are, that's where you can be helped. Not by lying to yourself, because when you lie to yourself, you lie to God as well. That's integrity. The worst thing you can do is lie to yourself. You can lie to people. You can lie to these people that be around you, but lying to yourself is something, because you have to live with yourself the rest of your life. So do not lie to yourself about integrity and how you can keep yourself while you're with your parents or while you're not with your parents, because it's going to show when you're not with your parents. So it doesn't matter about the sexual relations on if you live with your parents or not, because I honestly feel that's another reason why we want to get out on our own, so that we can be grown and have people look at us like we have everything. And I'm gonna be honest with you, as a woman, I feel like it's a stamp to your womanhood to feel like you're out on your own and you living your best life. And I really know I can attest to that, because I've been out on my own. But the thing about it is, when God calls you to a place, you have a choice. God is going to give you free will on if you want to stay with your parents, or you want to live with that person, or you don't. Because a lot of people, honestly, they jump out. I know people that jump out of living with their parents to go live with a boyfriend, or something like that. Whatever y'all like doing, that's your cup of tea. But I'm here to tell you that you do not have to rush out of your parents' house into a pillar of sin. Like, you don't have to put yourself in that situation because God has blessed you. He's provided for you through your parents. So why would you put yourself in a position? And I know it's a lot of people that say, oh, I wish I would have went back with my parents, or I wish I should have did this, or they'll tell you, oh, you need to stay there longer. I'm not here to tell you that. I'm not giving you that testimony because I'm in it right now. It's not the easiest thing to do, but I realize it has pruned my character since I've been here. And I feel like it's really helping me be able to handle a relationship or in a future a marriage, because I'm able to really discern when do I need to speak, how do I need to speak, how respectful I need to be, what household duties I need to do, what kind of bills I need to pay. That shows you responsibility there. So whatever you got going on in the back of your mind, it gotta not be of God. Because if you want to be on your own, it gotta be something else. If your parents giving you the option to stay with them, do not make an excuse by saying you got so many other things to do. Because if God called you to that, you will not be struggling financially. You won't be struggling spiritually, because God will give you everything that you need. So it's no need to make an excuse when God has called you to humble yourself. Because honestly, y'all, I'm probably the least likely to have even came back to my parents' house, because honestly, I was living in a hotel for about 4 weeks after I finished college, after I graduated from college, and I was by myself, y'all. And I was with somebody, and I was talking to somebody or whatever, and I had plans to move, like to get married and, go to another place, and things just changed. I'm gonna make a video about that, y'all. Things changed, and to sum it up, he end up living with somebody else, y'all, in a house. So one of my things was that really hurt my feelings, and I love to be vulnerable with people, and I want to be honest with people, because you won't ever get helped if you don't go through this. Being able to hear somebody else. So I seen that, and that really hurt me from a woman's point of view, because I didn't have that. I didn't have a home, for somebody to stay in. Like, that was one of my things. And that's one of my things when people ask me, and they be like, do you live on your own? Do you stay by yourself? Or whatever the case may be. And it may be embarrassing to be like, oh, I'm staying with my parents, or whatever the case, like whatever you may think, So everybody got their own perceptions. But I'm going to tell you this. To be honest, you're going to have to be confident in whatever place that you are in. I don't lie about where I stay. Point blank. Wherever I'm at, you're going to know I'm at. Because I can be any place. But God has me in this place for a reason. And it's not just to save money. I'm not just here to save money, y'all. If you want to live with your parents just save money, that's the wrong thing to do. You need to be getting everything else in order while you're staying with your parents. You need to be making sure that your I's are dotted and your T's are crossed when it comes to your spiritual walk with God, or you will get ate out in these streets, period. Like, if you want to live out in these streets, you go ahead. Go ahead, but the devil is waiting for you to get out of them streets if you do not have a foundation that's set on God. You gonna need that. I'm turning up, y'all, because I'm very passionate about this. If you don't have any self-control, this is just for my women. If you don't have any self-control, you're going to be waiting for somebody to pay your bill. As soon as somebody get ready to offer you some money, you're going to have your mouth out because you didn't truly have a relationship with God to say, God, you are going to provide for me when I get out there. If I lose my job, if I get sick, if anything happens to me, you are going to be the one to really take care of me, because that's why you told me to do it. But if God never tells you to do it, you're going to be listening to somebody else tell you what you need to do with your life. You're going to be listening to what somebody can tell you to do with your body and everything else that comes with it. So I'm telling y'all now, you dodge a lot of diseases, a lot of babies that don't need to be with these people, because I'm strategic with mine. I'm not laying down with nobody because I understand, you feel me? Like, my kids got to be a certain way, and I'm not laying down with just anybody. So it's past the baby fever. It's past the cute little booties. Make sure that your life is aligned with God, and make sure that he's telling you and strategically directing you in this path. And if you don't know what he is telling you, stay where you are until he does. Do not move out of the will of God if you know that God is still pruning you into being a woman of God, because you don't have to rush. I keep saying that because God really wants to get you in that place where you can take your time and be patient. I know it's not the most attractive thing to say, I live with my parents, or I'm still staying with my folks. But if that person truly understands your width and know that you are a woman of valor, a woman of valor, a woman of standard, they should know how you operate. So it doesn't matter where you are right now, it's where God is going to take you. And in this season, God may be trying to take that attitude out of you. He may be trying to take your little language. He may be trying to get you in a place where you can have that Bible study on your own, even with people making noise in the house. It may not look exactly like how you want it and how you dream of being by yourself, but God will still have you in a place where you can still get what he needs to get to you. And he'll provide an area for you in your house or at a different place for you to still spend time with him. So it's no excuses. I'm telling you, this is the best thing that you can do if you know that your parents are one of those people, are those people to actually support you and be there for you and provide a place. It may not be something that may you be there for the rest of your life. I'm not telling you that. But I am saying that if you know it's just some riffs, that it's just some attitudes, that it's just something that you feel like maybe it's me, that I may have a little attitude, or maybe you just feel like it's something that you need to grow, you probably can be a witness to your parents. You get your relationship with God right, and you could be a light into that family. You could be helping them with wellness, with eating right. It may be something else that God may be calling you to do while you're at the house. So do not rush out trying to get at the house, because I'm telling you, people act like they have so much peace when they get out of the household with their parents, just to a kiki and laugh in their face. And then when they get in a relationship, they don't know how to adjust because they have so many moments where they're not working on themselves. The best way to work on yourself is really being around people. It's not going to be sitting in a room by yourself. I'm going to just be honest. It's not like that. So don't let nobody lie to you and say, oh, I'm cleaning up my apartment. I'm cleaning up my house. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. Maybe God called you in another season. So know what's good for you. People living by yourself, cool, good. This may not be for you right now. I may have something else for you in the next video. But I really want to talk to the people that's living with their parents, or you have the option to do that, because this is a place where God wants to truly do something in your life. I don't know exactly what it is. You know what it is. And seek God, fast, pray, whatever you got to do to make sure that you are completing this season, because you will not be able to go back. When you're 40 years old, you may not ever be able to go back. Okay, so make sure that you're stewarding your seasons well, because I want to make sure I'm doing the best I can this season so that I won't regret it. That's why a lot of people look in their past and say, man, I wish I would have did this. If you do it now, whatever you feel like you wish you could do, just go ahead and do it. And you won't have any issues. Like, you won't have any regrets, because you will say that, hey, at least I did everything I could do and I don't have anything else left on the table. When you play basketball, people be like, okay, I'm going to give it all I got, so that when you get home that night, you want to say, at least I wish I could have took that shot, or I wish I could have played better defense, or I wish I could have cheered my team on. This is your season to do the best that you can and leave everything else out. And give everything else to God. If you feel like you missed this season of your life,